My daughter snaked me and called my husband's side chick her new mom, so I spent her entire college fund on a lavish house. And now, she wants to come back and beg for forgiveness. I, 44F, have an 18-year-old daughter Mia, and she's supposed to start college in a couple of months. I'm also in the middle of a divorce from my husband of 20 years, Jonathan, 45M. He had an affair with his secretary Alicia, 34F, and that had been going on for almost a year before he finally came clean to me about it a couple of months ago. I filed for a divorce as soon as I could, after he told me, and I also moved out of our house. I've been living with a friend of mine ever since I left, and I'd expected Mia to take my side on this because I'm obviously the victim here, but for some reason, she chose to take her father's side. I tried to talk to her a week after the divorce because she hadn't been texting me, not even to find out where I was. She hadn't been at home on the day that Jonathan, so after almost a week of waiting, I decided to text her first and told her that I was leaving her father because of his affair. And she told me that she already knew, but she didn't care about it much because she felt like this didn't concern her. I thought that it was a bit odd and began to think that maybe I'd made a mistake by letting Jonathan talk to her first. Because that meant that he controlled the narrative and could feed Mia whatever nonsense he wanted to about our marriage and our relationship, so she would side with him over me. I tried to talk to her many more times afterward, so I could set the record straight, but it appeared to me that Jonathan had actually told her the truth, and in spite of that, she was on his side. I thought that was insane, but she was still my daughter, so I tried to convince her to talk to me and put in a lot of effort to get her to spend time with me, even though I was super busy with the divorce and my job. She would agree to meet me like once in a blue moon, and I'd try to make a day out of it. But even then she would just seem very unenthusiastic and would be on her phone almost the entire time. For the last couple of weeks, she hadn't been responding to any of my texts and was completely icing me out. And then, about a week ago, I saw a post that she'd put up on Instagram, where she was hugging Alicia with a caption that referred to her as mom with a heart emoji. I was already feeling horrible because not only was I losing my husband, but now, it appeared that I was also going to lose my daughter to the same woman. That post was pretty much my last straw, and I just completely snapped. I called Mia up, and when she didn't answer the first time, I decided to go a little crazy and called her almost 17 more times until she finally picked up the phone. She sounded annoyed, but I couldn't care less about how she felt and instantly demanded an explanation for the post and the caption. She told me that it was none of my business, and that I shouldn't be stalking her account in the first place anyway. It was crazy because she has a public account and I follow her because I'm her biological mother. I told her that it was really low and disgusting of her to take Jonathan's side, even though he had cheated on me, and now, she was also pretending like that other woman was her mother while ignoring the woman who'd actually given birth to her and raised her for so long. Mia told me that she owed me nothing, and if I was so hurt then she was just going to block me so I wouldn't be able to see any more of her posts. She told me that whatever happened was done and that now, instead of whining, I should just be trying to make my future better. Like she was, trying to get along with her new family. Then, she disconnected the call and actually ended up blocking me, which came as a huge shock to me. Mia and I, like any other mother-daughter duo, had our differences. But I would never expect her to stab me in the back like this. She and I had been pretty close growing up, and only in the recent years had she started growing closer to Jonathan than to me. But I always believed that she loved us equally. That phone call proved that she didn't, and it set me off the edge. I think I cried for almost an hour after she hung up and blocked me because I couldn't believe that my little girl would do this to me. But once I was done crying, I decided that I wasn't going to let everybody get away with walking all over me and then just keep sobbing for the rest of my life. I decided to take Mia's advice and did something crazy. I'd set aside a ton of money for Mia's college fund. Jonathan and I had figured that we could split the cost of sending her to college, so he'd saved up to pay half and so had I, in our separate bank accounts because we weren't supposed to touch that amount. But I decided to just screw it and spend that money on buying a house that I'd really wanted, for the past couple of years. I'd had my eye on a beautiful house in a really nice neighborhood, but I hadn't been able to buy it because Jonathan wasn't ready to move out of our old house and Mia didn't want to leave that neighborhood behind because all her friends lived close by. But as soon as I realized that Mia had almost no gratitude, the sooner I accepted that, the better off I would be. So I decided to talk to the real estate agent dealing with that house and offered them the entire college fund and some more, so I could buy that house, and I got a deal.